Attention passionate Atlanta, Falcons fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC South and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Atlanta Falcons' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Atlanta Falcons fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Atlanta, FALCONS. Let's get to the news now, folks. The NFL's tampering period is always a time of excitement and anticipation, especially for fans of teams looking to make strategic moves to improve their roster. But this year, for the Atlanta Falcons, the start has been a bit quieter than many might have expected. While other teams are out there making big splashes, signing big-name free agents, or releasing veterans to free up cap space, the Falcons have kept a bit more reserved. That might seem disappointing at first glance, but as we all know, sometimes silence in this phase can be a calculated move, a sign that the team is waiting for the right moment or the right players to come along. And let's be honest, in the NFL, sometimes the quietest moves end up being the most impactful. Right now, the NFL landscape is filled with teams releasing overpaid veterans, players who might not fit into the future plans, or who are simply too expensive for the cap. And interestingly, some of those veterans could actually be potential targets for Atlanta later in the offseason. Two names that have caught the attention of many analysts and fans alike are defensive lineman Larry Ogunjobi from the Pittsburgh Steelers and Za'Darius Smith from the Detroit Lions. Both players were released on the same day, and both are a bit on the older side, being in their 30s. But don't let that fool you. Both have proven to be productive pass rushers and could fit perfectly into the Falcons' defensive scheme, especially if Atlanta is looking for affordable, experienced depth along the line. Let's start with Ogunjobi. This guy has been around the AFC North, playing for the Browns, the Bengals, and now the Steelers. Over his career, he's shown flashes of real talent, especially in 2021 when he had his best season with the Bengals, recording 7 sacks. That was a peak year, but even in recent seasons, he's been a solid contributor. In 2024, he put up 41 total tackles, with 5 tackles for loss, 7 quarterback hits, and 5 sacks. That kind of production, combined with his experience, could be exactly what Atlanta needs to bolster their interior pass rush. You see, the Falcons had to part ways with Grady Jarrett earlier this offseason due to salary cap constraints, and Ogunjobi could be a strong candidate to step in, providing leadership and production along the defensive line without breaking the bank. But of course, Ogunjobi isn't just about filling a gap. He's about bringing a veteran presence that can elevate the entire defensive front. His peak in 2021, where he amassed 7 sacks, shows that he still has the ability to get after the quarterback. And even though his recent numbers are modest, his experience in multiple defensive schemes makes him adaptable and valuable. The Falcons, with a potential focus on adding youth through the draft, could see Ogunjobi as a short-term solution that complements their long-term plans, especially if they target a young interior lineman at some point in the upcoming draft. Now shifting gears to Za'Darius Smith, this guy is a different kind of player. While Ogunjobi is more interior-focused, Smith has made his mark as a premier edge rusher over the years. He's 2 years older than Ogunjobi, but his NFL resume is impressive, with multiple double-digit sack seasons, including in 2019, 2020, and 2022, when he made the Pro Bowl. Last season, he racked up 9 sacks with the Browns and Lions, along with 9 tackles for loss and 17 quarterback hits in just 17 games. That kind of production is exactly what a team like Atlanta needs to boost their pass rush, especially since they're always looking to improve their front 7. The Lions, interestingly, acquired Smith at the NFL trade deadline for 2 draft picks, and they took that cap space of $5.7 million to release him rather than keep him for 2025. That's a clear indication that Detroit is retooling and is willing to let go of veteran talent to manage their cap and roster flexibility. For Atlanta, that's a golden opportunity. Smith's experience, combined with his ability to get after the quarterback, makes him a very attractive target. His Pro Bowl experience and proven track record of double-digit sacks in multiple seasons could make him the perfect veteran presence along the edge. especially if Atlanta is eyeing a draft pick in the first round to add a young pass rusher. And speaking of the draft, Atlanta's likely to focus on bolstering their defensive line in the upcoming NFL draft, possibly even at number 15 overall. They might look to add a talented edge rusher there, but having a veteran like Smith or Ogunjobi could complement that young talent perfectly, providing leadership, stability, and a proven pass-rushing threat. Ideally, the Falcons want to add both, but budget and cap considerations might mean they target one or the other. Either Ogunjobi to rebuild their interior line or Smith to reinforce the pass rush on the outside. Both options make strategic sense and could be game changers for their defense in 2024. Now, what does all of this mean for the Falcons' defensive strategy? Well, it signals that Atlanta is looking at a carefully balanced approach, adding veteran leadership and experience, while still focusing on developing young talent through the draft. The goal is clear: create a defensive front that can pressure the quarterback consistently, stop the run effectively, and set up the secondary to take more risks and make plays. Strengthening the pass rush is a priority, and these two players, Ogunjobi and Smith, fit that mold perfectly, especially considering their affordability and production. But beyond just the X's and O's, this also speaks to Atlanta's overall approach. They're being patient, strategic, and selective, waiting for the right opportunity to strengthen their roster without overspending and risking future cap issues. That kind of approach is what can set a team apart and push them toward relevance in the NFC South and beyond. With other teams making big splashes, Atlanta seems to be laying the groundwork silently, building a team that can surprise a lot of fans and analysts alike come the season. And you, Falcons fans, I want you to really think about this. The potential addition of Ogunjobi or Smith could be the missing piece that turns their defense from good to great. Remember, both players bring experience, leadership, and a proven ability to disrupt defenses. The question now is, which one do you think would make the biggest impact? Or do you think Atlanta should try to sign both? That's right, both could be affordable enough to make it happen, and their combined presence would make the Falcons' front seven significantly more formidable. In the end, this offseason is shaping up to be a pivotal one for Atlanta. With strategic signings, smart drafting, and a focus on balancing youth and experience, the Falcons are positioning themselves for a potential breakthrough year. Their defense, which has been a work in progress, could finally find that balance with the right veterans alongside their young talents. And let's not forget, this is all happening in a division that's evolving, with Tampa Bay, Carolina, and New Orleans all looking to improve. The NFC South is becoming more competitive, and Atlanta needs to be ready. So, Falcons fans, stay tuned because this story is far from over. The next few weeks will be critical as we see who the Falcons target, who they sign, and how they plan to shape their roster for the upcoming season. But one thing is for sure, whether it's Ogunjobi, Smith, or both, Atlanta is making smart moves behind the scenes, and the future looks promising. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Atlanta Falcons news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. So as we wrap up, I want to emphasize that this offseason is shaping up to be a game changer for the Falcons. Their approach to free agency and roster building shows a team that's patient, strategic, and ready to pounce when the time is right. The potential signings of Ogunjobi or Smith could be just the beginning of a season that could see Atlanta rise in the NFC and maybe even surprise some folks who have counted them out. They're building a team that's hungry, disciplined, and ready to make a statement. And now, Atlanta Falcons fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think the Falcons should target Ogunjobi, Smith, or maybe both? Or do you believe they should hold out for a different strategy altogether? Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Falcons. Remember, this is a community, and your voice is part of what makes it special. I'll be back soon with more updates, more insights, and more deep dives into everything Atlanta Falcons. So keep your eyes peeled, stay passionate, and let's get ready for an exciting offseason. Thanks for tuning in, and as always, go Falcons.